but oh, that's just on the screen.
Everyone keep it down. Keep it down back there.
Sean was jamming out to music, so he's
awake. Everybody's got like a little routine. Mandy
at
was
the
like,
end of the day.
I'm like laying
Hey,
on the
Clancy.
bed, and she's like, aren't you going to play some music before we go live? Because I go to Alexa, and I'll play a few songs or whatever. And I played some Robert Plant, In the Mood. Y'all know Robert
Do
Plant?
y'all know that? Who was the one that
Great
lived in your
song.
neighborhood?
Paul Davis. So Paul Davis, he sang I Go Crazy and 69 Love Affair. Not the Bryan Adams 69 Love Affair. It was anyone.
Was it a different
But
song?
anyway, I Go Crazy is by Paul Davis, and Paul Davis lived in the neighborhood that I grew up in. So there's that.
It was like a super...
It was like a one-hit wonder, you know?
That's cool.
But he used to show up to the tennis courts with his long hair down the back while all the freaking upper middle class like hipsters were, you know.
That's not us.
No.
That's from the other day. That was us the other... I was like, what?
I'm like, I'm not there.
Okay, there we go. We're all set now. Karen loves the song.
Which one?
I
Go Crazy?
Lisa. Yeah, she likes that
Yeah,
song.
so Paul Davis was... And you know, so that song came out in like 1977. When Paul Davis lived in the neighborhood, it was like 1983. So it was years, 5 or 6 years. And then he had 69 Love Affair.
I have heard that.
Do-wop, diddy-wop, diddy-wop, do.
That's also in a commercial.
Yeah. But
it's been in a few commercials.
Yep.
That's cool.
So, but I was like, I don't really like that. I'd rather listen to Kiss.
It's baseball and Kiss.
Okay, so I was talking to Mandi. I'm just kind of leading into this while people come in. When do people 10 years younger than you start hanging out? And there's differences. Like, she's 10 years younger than me, right? But obviously, when you're 15, you weren't hanging out with 5-year-olds. And when you were 25, you weren't hanging out with 15-year-olds.
Yeah.
Unless you're a weirdo. And then 35, you start having friends and coworkers that are 25. But really, it's 45 and, And so the thing is that if you grew up and you were a teenager in the 80s, right? And so the first music that you heard, rock and roll, was in the 70s, right? Fleetwood Mac. For me, it was Kiss. Like, I have the very first album that I ever got was Kiss Alive 2, right? It's hanging up in there. I'm going to probably go get it. Man's like, don't go get it. But I'm going to go get it. But it was an argument we got into, because if you have a poll and there's like, who is the most overrated, like, rock and roll band, like heavy metal type of band.
Oh, he's passionate about this. You did this.
And there's a lot of 40-year-olds that say it's Kiss. And all the guys in their 50s are like, fuck you, because we loved Kiss. We grew up with Kiss. And so it's overrated, like, because did they suck? Because you can't say they're overrated because they didn't sell a shit ton of albums and they were together as a band for 50 years. But I was just noticing that there's a lot of people in their 40s that were like, Kiss sucks. But the guys in their 50s are like, I'll fight you for that.
He's pretty passionate about it. Yeah. I've heard him make the argument several times.
Hey, Clancy.
I don't challenge him on it because I don't believe the same. So,
right.
So Clancy, did you see that he put picked a song out to put on the PA, and one of the songs I put on was Another Brick in the Wall.
Yeah, that's some Pink
Kelly.
Floyd. The Doors. The Doors were one of those bands, Kelly says, the Doors, that I heard a lot more of when I was in college. And I really like the Doors now, but I didn't like it when I was listening to rock and roll. But when I started experimenting with drugs, especially when I was tripping, on camping trips out in the woods right here in Dahlonega, and people would get home stereo speakers and they would just switch the ohms and put them in their car so they could, and we would play the Doors, tripping balls around a campfire. And yeah, I like the Doors. And I've always liked them, even though I'm sober now and I don't do any of that. I still like listening to the Doors.
That's awesome.
My favorite Doors song is Love Street and 5 to 1. Those are my two favorite Doors songs.
Bella Sitchin never really got into Pink Floyd's. Some people didn't, right? During that genre, not everyone liked Pink Floyd. There were some that...
I mean, the story that my youngest brother will tell people is I came home from Germany. It was just probably 1992 or so, 93. And it was around that time frame. And I was staying in my room across the hall when I lived with my parents. And I was blaring Pink Floyd, and my parents were somewhere out of town, and he was across his room trying to sleep, and he comes and he bangs on my door, and I'm like, what? And he goes, what is that crap? And I'm like, that's Pink Floyd. He goes, I don't like them. And I was like, oh, you will.
And he does.
You will, like I was Yoda or something,
I think it was when you were, Sean, might have been while you were in high school, because he said you left all your albums there.
Right.
And so he listened to your albums, and that's how he got into it. I think he was like in junior high, and maybe you were in high school.
But a lot of that stuff that he listened to.
Hey, Andy.
The psychedelic stuff. Andy, did you hear what I was saying, dude?
Did you see what he said?
What he said at the same? Yeah, I think he meant seed.
I know what he meant.
It's the same summer.
It's a national monument.
Now, Andy is several years younger than me. But what I was just saying, Andy, was when you get in an argument with guys in their 50s, but there's guys in their 40s. The guys in their 40s think that Kiss was overrated and that they sucked. Guys in their 50s are ready to beat them up for saying that. Am I correct?
I think that you're absolutely correct. I think that a lot of people, hey, Yoga Pants, I'm sorry, I didn't say hey, I didn't see you. And Bella says Bella said that she loves Stevie Nicks.
I got to get out of this troll account.
He says that every single time.
I was about ready to pin something, and then
you couldn't pin it if it was a different
account. I know.
Account.
I was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, Andy was a huge fan of coming to visit.
Yeah.
At the Casa Curly.
It's like, yeah. I mean, Andy would come down there and never want to go home. And when his mom would be like, "What did Andrew do while he was there?" I was like, "We don't speak of it.
It doesn't.
We don't speak of it." So.
You just brought like chicks over.
Chris, really?
Because they were closer in age or whatever.
Yeah, they were closer in age. I would be like older, and I'd be off doing whatever Army stuff or whatever, and I'd come home. I tried to make it home when Andy was visiting, but I couldn't all the time. But he's closer to my other brother's ages than mine.
Andy, you'll have to come visit, and we'll just go show up at the front.
We'll go knock on the door in Carly Lane and be like, that stain, oh, see that stain right there and that footprint? That will never be able to come out.
But I mean, you pull up and you're like, we've got a small plaque that we'd like to put in the yard, if that's okay.
Is that okay? Yeah, I know. We were going to go for a tree. We're going to plant a tree, but we thought that we'll do the plaque.
And it's like a bunch of people like.
Yeah, and then like every year for like 15 minutes, we're just going to gather around it, take some pictures, and go home.
Sarah saw Fleetwood Mac 6 times with her mom. Stevie Nicks is her mom's favorite. KK, that was... and Clancy and Bella both also like Fleetwood Mac.
My youngest saw Fleetwood Mac or saw Stevie Nicks. Remember when she was saying that? So my youngest kid, who is not so young anymore, 21, was like, it was Billy Joel and Stevie Nicks that were here in Atlanta together. And so I saw Billy Joel and Stevie Nicks. I'm like, shut your mouth.
I think she's older than 21.
22.
That's cool. She's 22, right?
Yeah.
See, I know.
See,
it's my responsibility to keep up with that.
22, and we'll be 23 this year.
Hey, Paula, how are you? Yes, it is. We have all of our kids are in their 20s.
All of them. We're
no one's hit 30 yet. Yeah, I know.
Look, if we have a baby and then it hangs around with Meg's kids, the uncle would be older than the nephew.
I know. That happened with my aunt's kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. My aunt had her last as her oldest was having her first. So it's the uncle is younger than that.
Like if you were 21, but your uncle was only 15.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
It happens a lot, actually. But you're calling someone uncle whatever, and they're like 9 months old or something.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, that's your uncle.
Or normally when you go out and you hang out with your uncle and you're like drinking and partying with him, he's a bad influence on you. But what if you're younger? What if the uncle is younger?
Yeah, it could be. Speaking of immature people.
Wow.
I got a clip sent to me today that I listened to where Al was reviewing old Sammykins and Yaba were paneling together.
Well, I mean, I'll start by saying that
it was uncomfortably weird.
It was really weird. Did you guys, any of you guys listen to Al, listen to her stream? Do you any of you thought it's okay to say
hey,
so?
Mama Ricky.
I knew that Sam was eventually going to do this to her, but what a nasty...
For those of you, there was all kinds of things said in the stream, but the one that I heard was Sam and Yaba were having a conversation about in which relationships the person's not causing them to come. And
Come meaning like
yeah,
the big O.
The big O.
Yes.
And it's strange because we all know that Sam fixates on body parts, especially in the female region.
Now, you guys have to remember, I keep in mind, I walk in through work and we decide, let's go live tonight because there's some fuck shit going on and different things.
Absolutely.
And she's like, listen to this. So I'm sitting here trying to eat my steak that Mandi cooked for me.
Yeah.
Eat my steak that my wife cooked for me. And she plops her phone down and it's Al, and Al's doing, her thing.
Sam.
She's reviewing Sam. What the fuck, man? What is
It was
Sam
so
is
weird.
like, even Yaba was like, what?
She didn't know how to vibe with it because
Right.
it was so
Yeah.
fucking weird.
Yeah.
And she said, "Hey, Loretta," she said that, and then she said something like, "Al sells her pee pick for $20." What the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
We've not gotten along with Al in a really long time, and that's not been said anywhere.
No.
That's so stupid.
We would
and
know.
then got into some sort of like, I'm not
Yeah.
even gonna I delve into it, but some like nastiness talked about with animal. It's disgusting.
This is my takeaway was, first of all, Sam has no content. None. Where she's at right now, this is her content. So she finally gets Yaba to do a stream with her, which Yaba avoids
Yeah.
a lot, like the plague. If you haven't noticed it, it's pretty...
She didn't have a choice now. Though.
Right. And so she gets her on panel. Whose channel was it? Was it Yaba's or Sam? It was Sam's, right?
I'm not even sure, actually.
I don't even know. Do you guys know?
Yeah, exactly, Bella. What that right there, I'm gonna pin that. Because it's even hard for me to say. That's what was said. That's what she said in the next part. Hey, guess who?
Have you fallen that far down? I mean, Sam, we know you're in the sewer. We know that's where you are, and you try to pull people down there. But it's like now when we're looking down, and I mean, I'm hearing this and I'm going, oh my God.
And again, and we say this all the time, she was very high.
Oh yeah, well that's a
very
given.
high.
That's a given. But
Hey, Moxie. They're so gross. You're right,
it
Sarah.
reminded me of a couple of 8th graders.
Yeah, that don't really know what they're talking about.
They don't know what they're talking. Yeah,
They
say things that they're not supposed to say,
and then they don't make any sense to people that know, that aren't.
But Yaba had nothing to say back.
She just went, "Oh, I know what you were gonna." Or
It's like, oh, and she'd say, you know, when you did, and babe, and she'd be like, what? And since she'd say something about Al, and Yaba was like, okay. It was like, that's.
I don't know. We got a funny text message, and I'm not sure. Oh, I bet you it was a picture. It was a picture.
Oh.
No, you're good. It's okay.
Oh, okay, it's all right.
I got you now. I was like, so yeah, it was uncomfortable. It was disgusting. And I didn't even, like immature schoolgirls. Hey, Carlos, that's what it was like. These women are engaged and they are adults and they are whatever. And it's okay to cut up. Sean and I crack jokes about our love life all the time, right? Our love life. I sound like I'm 80. But
I'm close.
that was quite uncomfortable.
It was weird, man. Because, when Mandi's like, here, I want you to hear this. And this is Al reviewing Sam. And it's not about not wanting to hear Al. When we're not getting along with her, I don't want to hear what you had to say about us. But it was about really not wanting to hear Sam's voice. Because I don't make a habit of listening to her at all.
She grates on everybody.
But
yes,
she was talking, and Owl was even like, you could tell she was, I don't know, she was like, what?
She just was like, because she said, and Al, her husband doesn't make her and she was like, that's why she wags her pee all over YouTube or whatever she said, and it was like, and even Yaba goes,
it does. That doesn't even make sense. It's like
Gina.
It really is like a couple of
right
8th graders that are talking about things that they don't know about.
Yeah, 8th graders. That makes
know whether or not any person is showing their private parts all over the internet doesn't correlate to having an orgasm. It doesn't.
Absolutely, yeah. Karen, Belle said, right, Karen saying Al likes her dog sniffing her, whatever, who talks like that. Who does?
I'll give you an example.
That's your idea.
Porn stars show their shit all over the internet. They come on the regular. When they enjoy their work. When porn stars go through interviews and they're like, why do you do this? And they say, because I love sex. That's what a lot of them say. And so it's not the two.
Karen.
The two don't go together saying someone is not getting off in the bedrooms, therefore they're showing pictures.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
And it's funny the way the clip did, though, because the clip starts with Sam literally saying, speaking of relationships or whatever it was, and people who can't get their, it was like the middle of the conversation.
And Al even mentioned us, like, she
said they're used to, she talks about our body parts.
Yeah, or she said, Sam, Sam talks about Sean and Mandy the same way. It's like this what
She's
she
like,
does.
I'm used to that.
Yeah.
But what the next part was about the dog. So we didn't get into that because that would have made me sick at my stomach. And it's not true. It's one thing to freaking...
Hey, Joss.
I know, I love it. It's one thing to freaking not like people and throw tomatoes or talk shit or even dogs. It's not right. But it's another thing to take it to that level. That's some TT shit. Hey, Melinda. That's some TT shit. It's these people are starting to morph into the same person. One of the other things that I keep seeing repeatedly is Yaba seems to talk about Arabia far more than Sam does. You'll see Yaba post about her. She talks about her. She talks about her credibility.
Lately.
Yeah, and one of the things that I said was, it was a screenshot that said, because Arabia is credible or whatever, talking about a thing that was being reviewed. And I'm like, how would you know how credible Arabia is? The only person you have to ask is your psychotic girlfriend.
And here's the thing. Think about it, though. Yaba has to live with the fact, this is taking up space in her head, that Sam told a judge that she was in a sexual relationship with Arabia. So we know that's bullshit.
So when she was like, it was a thing, and it was like saying how that it was a couple weeks old when it got posted. Actually, it was from the farms. I saw the screenshot, but it was a later thing saying about Arabia again from Yaba. And I'm like, you don't know. It's like, this is absolutely not true. And who's the source? Arabia, because they were reviewing that show that a lot of people have with me and Arabia when we were live together. And so I'm like I said, Sean's been there. You have the only person feeding you the information that you're listening to.
Yes, that's absolutely right.
Is the very sick woman that you've decided
that you're not ready to see them for what they are. But so Yaba's over there thinking, these motherfuckers brought Arabia into the community a few years ago, and this is the last person supposedly that the last romantic storyline, or the last sexual act that person that my partner was with before they came to me. Well, we know, we don't know whether or not that's true or not. We don't know that, but Yaba's got that stuck in her head, and because of that, she's always bringing Arabia up. Sam's over there going, would you not bring her up?
Right. Can we not talk about her anymore?
That girl's going to walk me down one day.
No, she wouldn't. Sean, don't get mad, but my boyfriend asked me if he could tell Mandy that she is very pretty. That is so very sweet, pretty. Melinda. Thank you.
She is very pretty. No, I'm not mad at all. Do you know that I was
like, I'm giving you permission.
I have to hear that a lot. That my girlfriend is pretty.
Thank you. I'm your girlfriend.
My wife.
Once again, I'm always the girlfriend. We always say you can upgrade. It's dirtier. You can upgrade, but you can still retain your prior roles.
Mandy comes to...
You can still be a fiance. You can still be a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. Mandy comes to meet me for lunch a lot. Like, as much as we
every
can.
Day.
So
don't lie, it's every day.
Yeah.
It's every day.
A lot.
We're a little bit obsessed with each other.
5 days a week. If I work 5 days, you're there about, because that's something else.
Boston, Jocelyn.
Oh, hi, Joss.
He's donning the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
There you go.
So there's plenty of times where, people, either carriers coming off the street or people in the front, they see her get out of the car, they see me get out of the car. My coworkers know me. Okay. They say, who is that? That better, that chick better be his wife. Well, it is his wife, because we'll be kissing or whatever. And they're like, wow, she's a good looking girl. I hear it all. So I hear it all the time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Once again, Rez is back in the hospital. So back in the bushes I go, and will be listening. I hope you get well soon, Rez. You've had a hard time of it. Yeah, exactly. When the honeymoon never ends. One of the things that what I talk about a lot with is how we've all kind of simmered down as we've gotten older. And I don't know about Thank you, Andy. I don't know as much about guys, but I know like when I talk to Loretta and Karen, we were something else back in the day. Quick to get jealous, quick to, quick fuse, quick whatever. You act first, think later. And we've all come to the conclusion we're just too old.
Yeah.
It's not worth it you're like, do I really want to battle this? No.
It's kind of cool. We both admit,
Good to see that.
It's kind of cool that even though you're with the person that you're going to be with for the rest of your life and they get a little jealous sometimes. You told me that. And it's scary to me. She's like, I said, I don't want you to get jealous, and I don't want to ever think that you're jealous of anything. I just don't,
I'm not like, I mean, yeah.
No, but you said it in the context of it is kind of hot.
It is kind of hot.
It's kind of hot.
Isn't it? Like, yeah.
You're with somebody
you don't
5,
want someone
10,
who's been
20
like,
years.
That's like waiting outside your car or
and
whatever.
You're like,
but
wow, we've been here.
Jealousy is good.
We've been together 5 years. What do you have to, or
right.
y'all that have been in, 20 and 30 year marriages and they get jealous of something. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. I think it is. I do too. I think it's very cool. And it's better than being with someone who it seems like they never get jealous. You know what I mean? Here, you picked the right time.
All right. Sawyer Brown is here.
He says, I'm going to probably get a bath tomorrow.
Is that?
I'm going to get a bath tomorrow, but I'm here. You are a baby. This is Sawyer Brown.
It's a Brown.
You might want to sit right here. But yeah,
he'll be asleep
pick and choose your battles. Absolutely. Mama Ricky probably was something to behold too. Like we all, as you get older, do you just sort of cool off a little bit? What was it called? They used to call it ready, fire, aim, or whatever.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
an AA term. Is ready, aim, fire? Ready, fire, aim, and it's like, yeah. Well, what else do you do? And it's like, well, you've already done the damage by the time you're looking.
Yeah. By the time you think about it.
We were talking about counting to 10. I said, yeah. I'll count to 10, and if I still want to say it, I'll count to 15. And damn it, if I get to 20, I'm saying it. And I haven't, but we don't really have that.
I don't think it's been a while since you've had
Ricky.
like I come busting through the door. I'm pretty good at reading the energy, but sometimes not. But it's been a little while. Sometimes I'm just on a different wavelength at work, and I come in and she's ready to talk about something different, and I'm like, blah, 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 I'm talking
but
about
I don't
work
mind. You always think that you're like, I don't want to talk about work or whatever. I know, and I'm like, no, that's what I'm here to listen to.
I know, but what I'm saying is it doesn't happen very often anymore where I can read you pretty quickly when I come in. I can look and I go, okay.
He can.
And there's a difference between something that's bothering her and something that maybe I said. Because I never ever would say anything on purpose, but
Mama Coco says, I still get jealous. We've been married 26 years and I know my husband is a good man and I'm lucky to have him. I just assume the other woman would want to be as lucky as I am.
That's a good way to say it.
Yep. Scout, you want me to shut your door, Scout?
I mean, that's a good way to say it, though.
I'd like that. Hey, it says cheers from Germany. Do you want me to shut your door?
Hey.
Scout.
Parzival, is that how you say it? Parzival. That's cool.
Yeah, I agree. A little jealousy is cute.
I mean, it keeps, it's.
He got jealous of Bret Michaels because I was in
that picture.
I photoshopped a picture. I was with Bret
and
Michaels.
I wasn't like seething with jealousy, but I looked at the picture and it's a completely fake picture. And
it was meant to be fake. And I'm like, what's wrong with it? And he was like, it's fine. It's just, and I'm like, trust me, Bret Michaels is not interested in
one of my rock idols, it's like one of these heavy metal guys. It's like, dude, no.
Yes. When you are each other's safe place, you want to hear everything. Exactly about their day. Little things in your partner's life mean everything. I agree. And I think things change as you get a little bit older. I'm drunk tonight. I'll shave my head clean with foam and razor if a woman comes in and smokes a cigarette with me. Well, let me pin that because you know what? That's what our new friend said from Germany.
I'm so yes.
Please come back. Your kind of comments are what we love. Oh, did he really? Yeah, I made one with Karen with Slash. This was quite a while ago. It was 6 or 9 months ago, and it says I showed my hubby my fake pic with Slash, and he thought it was hot. The last one I needed to make was Loretta. Loretta, who was it that I was?
Brett Michaels.
I haven't.
It was Brett Michaels.
No,
I think.
that was mine.
Oh, that was. Oh, what?
She
who was
picked one, and I couldn't find the picture, but I'm still looking for it. Who was it, Loretta? Rock of Love was good too. Yeah. I liked that.
I liked that.
I liked that too.
She's been rewatching it. Where do you watch it? Do they have it on?
Probably MTV, right?
But yeah, they probably do. That's where it showed.
So we have Sean hurt his ankle. He rolled it. Gosh. She's telling me, Loretta. That's right. It was because Loretta didn't want to say. She was embarrassed to say, and I said, "Hey, no, it's not bad." But I can't remember who she said.
What, is she embarrassed or something?
It was someone that it was like, I don't even know if I knew who they were when she said it, and I was like, okay,
that'd be super cool though.
Yeah, who was it, Loretta? She's like, I have some funny stories about some of the times I'd gotten really lit. One of them actually involved moonshine and passing out my backyard for 2 hours while I had a friend over. Moonshine leads to craziness.
And here in Georgia, here in the North Georgia mountains,
he was young, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, moonshine is.
Hey, Gigi.
Is a no.
No, and it's funny because I'm not. Oh, would make a cougar. Who?
Oh, because she's a young guy.
It was somebody like that. Yeah. My boyfriend's son has a chicken farm with turkeys. I love turkeys.
Heck yeah, man.
Andy, I've seen my cousin throughout the years with many different ladies. I have never, and I repeat, never seen him look in his eye like he is. He's happy with Mandi at our family reunion,
and I'm telling you, because that was so important to me, because most of the time, you accept what has happened in the past and you let the past go, because family is family, and you notice that nobody brought anything up from the family, not in my past. But Andy knows where I was with my ex-wife was right there in the middle of all of them.
Yeah.
Up there in New England. So, I have family that, is in Rhode Island, that is in Massachusetts, that's in New York. And we would go to certain events until we weren't allowed to come to events anymore. So
it was kind of like Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Something like that, like Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. So it was, the family reunion got everybody could see me. And it really wasn't, it was about showing off Mandi and them to meet her, but also to see me different. Like I wasn't on eggshells and,
it was a good
everybody would say the same thing.
I keep asking my in-laws like all the time. I'm like, when are we going back? Everybody wants to go back. Let's go back. And they're it's not out of the question to start planning it again. But yeah, Sean rolled his ankle. Sin, okay. Yeah. This is so funny. I love Sin, you guys. It says, don't do that about the picture. She said, you'll get your ass drug all over YouTube. I'm here to say I know for a fact that it's true. That's all I'm going to say about that. I don't know about photoshopped pics, but beyond that, I'm 100%. And Sean's jealous as hell. I love it. She's got such a good sense of humor. Did Loretta say yet who it is? Loretta's not going to tell us, I don't think.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Is it Justin Bieber?
No. What that was it?
Was it Justin Bieber? I'm wondering.
I think Justin was with some older women before he settled down with Hallie. Hallie, right? Isn't that his wife's name?
And Andy, it was my absolute pleasure going as his wife, meeting everybody and being
At the end of the day, it said, is Elvis Travel single? Yeah.
He's very single.
But
Karen will have to, I can't remember who it was. Hey, Presley, it's good to see you.
Hey, Presley.
Yeah, Presley has had a hard day. It just keeps coming her way.
Elvis Travels
sucks.
So Mandi and I, speaking of Elvis Travels, we like to listen to Joni Portwood, or watch Joni Portwood. I don't know if y'all know who Joni is. I think she's from Boyd, right? She's hilarious, and she does food reviews. And I think she knows she's trolling. But I think Joni and Elvis Travels got together, and I think I don't know what they did, but Joni was pretty angry with him and wrote a couple songs about it.
Yeah, Joni, don't mess with our Joni.
Yeah,
we like her food reviews. We like everything. Shauna and I really when I've never really thought that soulmates were a thing.
Oh, it was Machine Gun Kelly for Loretta.
Oh,
that's right. I remember now. That right on.
What happened was I was gonna make the picture, and then I got lost listening to the song because I like the song he's in when he did
He did one the pop song he did with.
No, the one where he's like running with the flag.
Oh, Raise the Flag. That's what it's called. Y'all know the video. I got Raise
lost
the Flag.
Listening to the thing, and then you know me, my brain got scattered and went on to something else. Her
Sissy's
stove
like,
makes
no,
me so anxious.
We love to watch her do that though. And
she's like, you put a little bit of sauce on this. She's like, what you do is you save your Taco Bell packets, and when you make your burrito at home, you just do whatever. And then she had a fish fillet not too long ago. Goes, well, look at this. The tartar sauce doesn't even cover it.
She rates it from 1 to 10.
I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 just because I love it.
It's a 4 because the texture, it's not even like fish, but we love them.
Rich Life
Rich Life
was with Realstream News the other day. And
really?
You know, I don't know if they were trolling or not, but he's with what's the girl's name? Lisa Lynn?
Really?
And they were both, she was on there too talking about it. And she said,
they were together for a while.
She said he's in a good mood because he got laid. That's exactly what she said. I forgot to tell you about that.
Wow. So she is there together. Because I remember when we were in Texas, they hooked up, but she was not like, she said she hadn't done anything with him. And I'm not trying to air. It's nothing that we didn't hear
she
on the
said this
on
on the thing. She said, I laid him the other day. The way she used it was a little bit odd. But she said he got laid by me or I laid him or something like that. Oh. And I was like, whoa.
Before though, like 4 years ago when they were streaming together, he was squarely in the friend zone 4 years ago. I guess that's changed.
Yeah.
Good for you, Rich Life.
Take a shower though. Elvis Travels needs to change his name. He is no Elvis. You know what? I didn't think about that. Presley is the #1 Elvis fan. And that man that calls himself Elvis Travels is no Elvis.
Gigi's like, I was so happy when she got her teeth. She must be talking about Joni.
She got teeth. I didn't know she got teeth.
We didn't know that. She's got them now?
The last time I saw her, she didn't. She did this thing one time where it was called Gummy. And remember, she did the profile and was looking at the TV and kind of like made herself look like, you know, what played around with no dentures in. She's very like.
When we're sitting around, not watching TV or whatever, it's like, well, who can we look up? You know, everybody gets that. Everybody that's in the chat, you know, we do this YouTube thing. So have you ever been sitting around going, someone go live or somebody do some content that we do that with Joni. It's like, oh, go look to see if Joni's done anything.
Every time she's got a new food review, I immediately click on it.
It's pretty much every couple of days.
For a while, she was like, would get mad at her mom.
Yep. Hey, Pebs. Said hello, Captain.
I saw that. I pinned it. Isn't that cool?
Yes, I see it.
The curly sign is now high enough.
So, guys, 5 minutes before we're going live, I'm like, Mandi, what are you doing? And I'm listening to what song was on then? Robert Plant, and then Kiss You All Over. That was the song, another song before we. And I'm, getting down to Kiss You All Over. And Mandy's, she goes up to Doris, where are you going? She says, I'm going to the shed. I'm getting the hammer to put the sign
I was like,
up.
because I'll spend the first 5 minutes going, oh, you can't see the sign. And I didn't want to do that. So that's exactly what I did.
I want to kiss you all over. There are like 2 or 3 music reviews. You know that Twins the New Trend was the first one. But I should look it up. There's a couple other reviewers. Then they're young. They're the younger generation. They're like in their 20s, and then they review songs from like the 70s and 80s. And I love watching them review those songs. So these two, and I think they're a husband and wife duo, and they're young. And they put on Exile. They take requests from people, and then they play the video, and then they review it as it's playing. It's so cool to watch people do that.
Yeah.
They've never heard a song.
You showed me a couple of the ones before, and I really liked it.
The most popular one was Twins the New Trend when they did In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins. It's got like 9 million views.
Really?
When they reviewed it. And they were twins. So twin guys. And one of them grew up and decided he didn't want to be a YouTuber anymore. So the other guy, the channel is still called Twins the New Trend, but he's by himself. And it really took away from it.
Well.
He still does it, and he kind of grinds out the videos. But when he was with his brother, I think they were teenagers
doing it.
So you got a couple of dudes that grew up in like 2004 4 or whatever, and they're listening to music from the 70s and 80s. And Phil Collins, In the Air Tonight, when the drums kick in, their reaction is like, was viral for a while.
Right.
Because that's like a pretty iconic lead when the drums go in the air tonight. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, Twins, the new trend is the channel. I'd have to look up the other two, but it's pretty cool.
That's very cool. I liked the one with the twins. I
Yeah.
didn't know it was Sonda one. Presley got her carpet shampooed. Her cousin passed today. That's what happened. So if y'all could keep her in your thoughts. Yes, it's Pebs. It was Joni Portwood's teeth. Stitching says Joni's going to kill her mama with her cooking. Does she share what she buys with her mom? I didn't know that. I had no idea. Yeah, doesn't that Bella, it sucks. Mama Ricky, I saw a video of Elvis performing as Elvis. It was pathetic. Of Elvis Travels being Elvis. Yeah, I don't think that he can really pull it off. Never could, but really can't now.
Yeah.
You have a good night. She's gonna grab hubby from the airport and want some. That you have an amazing night, Sarah. Remember when we thought that her husband was in there, and she was like, "That is not my husband." Do you remember that time? And I was like, because her husband does look over at us sometimes.
But it wasn't him.
It was. She was like, "That."
And
is
we were
not
sitting
him.
there.
We were playing it up. I was like, "Will someone hide him?" Yeah, it was crazy. Presley, did you carpet your shampoo? Did you carpet clean yourself, or did you have someone come in and do it? I bet she did it herself. That was the one thing Sean wanted, like right after we got together. Apparently, he's into shampooing carpets.
I did.
We went and got that one when we were still in the apartment. That carpet shampooer. That was like our big.
Yeah, but that's because when we moved in, they weren't ready for us to move in when we moved in. We've told this story before. When we moved in, we had the air mattress, and we just didn't want to stay in a hotel.
Before we get into, we're gonna take. You have the picture, so I'm gonna make a little montage of the first night we were in the apartment. We'll keep it as a surprise.
And this is why the carpet cleaner is a thing. So Mandi, we leave the hotel, right, and we're in Texas, and this is our lease together. This is our first place together, a residence.
Where nobody was going to walk in on us and catch us doing anything.
There was no exes that's going to come in or whatever.
I kind of meant like parents, but
their parents too. But that came afterwards because when we moved over there. But so we're in this place and we're checking out of like the Motel 6 or whatever, and we're calling our the leasing office, and they're like, we're not ready, and says we need to move in. And it simply is a matter of our budget for our hotel room is gone. And we were supposed to be able to move in a couple days ago. We need to move in. And they're like, you can, but the carpets aren't down yet.
This is, we're going to go back to that.
Okay.
Yes. Presley wanted me to click that.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
You like that song?
When Twins the new, anyway, we can talk about that in a minute. So we're laying there, and I'm telling you, we put the blow-up mattress in the living room, and everything that we have is in that living room because everything else is in storage and stuff. And we're over the moon, man. We're laying there. This is our place, And all of a sudden, you start hearing them. First, you start hearing. You hear them. You hear them, y'all. You hear them scuttling around. And it's like, those are motherfucking cockroaches in our place. And it's like, it's okay. And we're and Mandi's got to be to work at like 5 in the morning.
They started falling from the ceiling.
All of a sudden, they're crawling on us, y'all. They're crawling all over. It's like, oh my God.
We flipped on the light and they were coming out the sink.
They're coming out the sink. It's like, why didn't we see them in the morning? It's like, well, they go to their jobs during the day and then they're coming home.
They're German cockroaches.
Yes. They're everywhere. And Mandi's got to be to work at got to get up at like 5, and it's probably like 9 o'clock at night, 9:30, and so we're up, and we're going to Walmart to get. This is the second part of it because we go there and it's like, can we bomb the apartment?
I was not thinking clearly, and I said we can set off a bug bomb. It's okay if we stay there.
We set the bomb.
We didn't have the animals yet. The animals were still.
There was no Sawyer Brown. There was no cats.
And Storm wasn't there yet.
No, so we get the bomb. And we were still in the fucking apartment when we set the bomb off.
It was crazy. It was bad. We thought if we opened the doors and stuff, it would be whatever.
Buddy, you good?
So we're like sitting there talking, and they're still not going anywhere. I mean, so
they got mad when we start the bomb. We thought they would go away. They
finally,
got pissed
I was
off.
like, what do we do? Do we go to a hotel? Do we go to, like, what do we do? I was like, I have to literally, I mean, by the time we get to a hotel and check in, it's going to be time for me to go to work.
Yeah. She didn't get any sleep. And so we're like, we just got to gut this out. But now we got to go outside for a minute because now we're asphyxiating ourselves with the bomb.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I thought, and Mandy's like, this wasn't a good idea. And I like.
Yes, Loretta. Yes.
At first I was like, but you said that. I didn't know. She didn't have any idea. I should have known better. So now we're outside. We're sitting outside of our own apartment. And she's got, and it's getting later and later, or earlier and earlier. And I think you got about an hour and a half of sleep that night.
It was not much at all. They are, and I was going to look up the pictures. The thing about the roaches in Texas. So you know how people are always like, they call the bigger ones the water bugs, and then the little ones are the actual roaches. I think there were both, like the little ones and the big ones, and they're fucking ruthless, man. Yeah, and they draw, like I said, they come from everywhere. So the next day I was at work and Sean called, you know, the thing, and was like, you do not understand. And so the guy came, and this is a helpful hint for people who ever struggle with it, because I had seen them before, but I'd never had like an infestation like that. I guess it was because the people that were there before, that's why they delayed us moving in, because they tried to take care of it.
Yeah, I realize it now, but it was
yes, exactly. They do. I've heard they can bite. That was what I was scared of. He said they hang out in things that vibrate. So like the coils behind your refrigerator, they kind of vibrate. They like that. They like to go in like where your your air conditioner is. No, don't. Where their air conditioner is, and they like hang out there or whatever. So it was crazy, but that was insane.
I'm finding it. I'm almost.
And he kept taking pictures and videos of it. And you know, we were like still in this blissfully, we didn't really, you know a whole lot about each other, but we were like, here we go.
Our place,
here's
guys.
Our futures getting started. Let's go. And finally I was like, why are you taking so many pictures?
Because every time
are you going to put them in Vogue?
I was in such a protective mood over her.
Look, I'm going to take this.
I'd hear him ding, 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 and I'd jump up with a flashlight. She goes, what the fuck are you doing, man?
You were like, I'm going to wait up all night. And I was like, it's not going to work.
There you go. This is one of the videos. Look.
If you're easily triggered by little, hold on. Just hold it right there.
Hold on, I don't want them to see everything.
Yeah, don't. Where's the still picture? That's a still picture.
Here you go. Look at these fuckers.
Everywhere.
They were everywhere. That's just in the sink.
Everybody's like, nope. Oh, I'm sure it could. Karen said if she likes vibrating things, then the beast is determined. Yes.
That's why they were everywhere, man.
Everywhere. So anyways, they'll see, now he's showing y'all all the pictures.
I know.
He took a million pictures.
I just got to get away from, because there's a lot of, I said, we were.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Dee. Thank you so much.
You so
You're
much.
So sweet. Thank you.
We must be entertaining tonight.
They're like, so.
My second favorite
picture. And Sean
picture.
said, yeah, that is.
This is my second favorite picture of the two of us. Look at that.
That was I had been sick, right?
Yeah, that's the second favorite picture.
Oh, wait, yeah, because that's in the extended stay, right? Yeah, that's
it.
That was in the extended stay. Have a good night, Presley. Yeah, I'm so sorry about your cousin. No, the roaches, thank you, but they were like way long time ago, August of 2019.
Because all
what Sean wanted was a divorce and his new wife.
I know. That's what all the bedrooms looked like, and all those motherfuckers were in that carpet.
Look at Sean.
I'm all.
He's back in. He's back in. Yeah, no, Presley. I do. And cousins are like, well, you're close. A lot of times you're pretty close in age within a certain number of years. So.
I mean, Andy's here. He's my cousin.
Yeah.
If something was to happen to Andy, and I remember when Andy had his cancer, I didn't even know. I didn't even know what to say, Gigi
says that all the time. They weren't roaches. They were water bugs. That's what Rich Life said about the roaches. Rich Life, I still have not, he didn't understand how classic he was just being him. He would get so offended and so pissed off, but he didn't understand that the reason people were like attracted to him, like to watch him, is because he was so real.
He was so authentic. You remember when he was riding down the street and got in an accident on the freeway live?
It.
Anyway, I was able to get a picture of one of the roaches in a close up.
Oh my gosh.
And this is it right here. This is what it looked like. That was him.
It stayed and did an interview.
Yeah.
So yeah, the she sent a Cash App, which is awesome. Let me tell you our newest addition with the chicken fund. We're gonna put an awning over the courtyard of the we have like a little courtyard off the side the thing, and we're gonna put an actual like awning over it, like a nice one. Not like, I mean, it's gonna be, vinyl tarp or whatever, but they've got them where they actually install, like you can like put them where it's not directly on top of it. We're doing that before the summertime. So thank you. That goes to the chicken fund. What are you looking for
I
now?
love that picture of us.
He's lost.
I do.
He gets
And this
lost
is
in memories.
This is my all-time favorite. I've showed this. That's my all-time favorite right there.
That was the first time or the second time you came to Texas?
The
first time, right?
It was July 31st. Well, it was probably that was, because that's not the actual picture.
I'm sorry, Presley, that's awful.
I know.
It was her best friend. I was watching, thank you, Jocelyn. It was, when I say that we made this thing, like we had no doubt once we decided to, thank you, Colleen, to be together, that, oh, thank you, Karen. That is, oh, hold on. I'm trying to pin it. Thank you, Karen. I'm going to pin it just for a second. If I can figure out how to do it. I'm not very good at it. So anyway, the, what was I talking about just 4 seconds ago before I said I'm going to pin that? I can't remember.
Our first picture.
So when we got together, we knew we wanted to be together. When we decided to make it forever, we were going to be together. When we moved in together and we went to the grocery store for the first time, this is incredible. We didn't have any idea what each other liked to eat. Mm-hmm. We didn't know what each other didn't like, nothing. Most people, by the time they get to that point, they kind of know. But that was the most awkward. It still wasn't awkward. We were blissfully happy. But that was, and then the next was when we started, combining finances and doing bills and things like that. That it can be slightly awkward when it's someone that you haven't known for very long. You know what I mean? When you're like,
she was like, you are a bougie bastard.
Oh, at the grocery store, I did say that.
Should I show them the very first picture we ever took?
You can show them.
Here's the very, very first picture. It was on June 2nd, 2019. Both of us technically are in the throes of adultery, right? By June 2nd, because everyone that doesn't like us says that. Very first picture, right there. That was the proof that everybody wanted.
Yes, Bella, I will give you as many pointers as you want. She's got the coop built in the backyard, but no chickens yet. Thank you, Paula. I don't know if any of you know who Duke Landry is, but he passed away this week. He was in G Mangoes a lot. I don't remember Duke Landry.
I remember the name. I mean, I know the guy, and I know that G Mangoes himself is just out of the hospital.
Oh, recently?
This was probably it was probably a month ago. You were asleep. G Mango was he's out of the hospital, and I lurked. There's not a whole lot of people that we know.
Really?
There's a couple names, because for a second there, Savage kind of took us all over there.
Yeah.
And so there
during
was about
COVID.
Yeah, during COVID. Mm-hmm. So for about 3 weeks, all of a big chunk of the drama community that was still the drama community was over there hanging out. And it was like drama community and Boyd and Troll Avenue all was over there. G Mangoes would throw 300 in the chat at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
But
I did
so about a month ago, I've always been subscribed to him. We haven't watched him in a while, and I just went over there because he was fresh out of the hospital. And this was like his stream that he was doing. And so I lurked, and there's a couple of names of people that we may have seen around in, like, say maybe Rosie's chat or whatever that I recognize, but it was a whole different crowd.
He's and they just said that G Mango nearly died again. He's just out of the hospital. Oh my gosh.
That's what I mean. So
yes, fresh eggs, Bella, are when Sean used to go, until you have fresh eggs, you don't know what you're missing. I was like, an egg is an egg, but whatever. It is totally different.
So I can't show him this one?
Sean, it's It's mostly yolk when they're that fresh. Look, he's like, it's mostly yolk. You're going to make me blush. It's mostly yolk at that point. Scrambling it is like, really, there's no bad way to eat, but your scrambled eggs will be very yellow and very tasty. And I used to stress that the chickens would be very stressed when we took them, like, look for them. When you take them, they literally... And they go back to their business. It depends.
Sometimes they get broody. Like if they're on them, they won't get off. Like we had a bird. There was 4 eggs under her today, and I was going to. I wanted to get the eggs, and she was. They'll peck at you, but they don't really hurt.
No.
Now I know that ducks, if you take their eggs, they'll lay them somewhere else. They start hiding them. So you're sitting at work. I'm sitting at work. Trying to get my work done, and then Mandi just sends me pictures like this, and it's like,
I was like, holy shit!
No, I wasn't gonna say that.
No, I know you wouldn't, but Paula was laughing. I was like, yeah, right, Paula. And then when you said this, my brain disconnected. I knew you wouldn't do that.
I get pictures like this from her, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm done.
You're very sweet.
Who's the what's that girl with the Bailey Dupree? She's got the Tourette's.
Yeah, she's on TikTok.
You guys ever see Bailey Dupree, the girl with she's got Tourette's and she's always going, "You're done."
She's got a boyfriend that is so understanding and doesn't just sit there and laugh at her, and she understands that it's funny. She gets on certain kicks and she just says it over. Karen is the one that originally I showed her to you after Karen showed her to me.
But you showed us
Melinda,
something.
I'm not sure if G Mango was military. I don't know, unfortunately.
You're done.
Wind it up. Does she say wind it up?
She always goes, little baby wiener. She always says, you're done. But she used to say a lot more profane things that I haven't heard her say lately.
Yeah, Karen, I was going to say Karen watches her too.
Yeah, I watch her.
When it's so, I love that when she was trying to do, was it a coffee drink?
Yes.
And you could tell she was really trying, and she was like, it's very good. And then she'd
just freak out.
But she doesn't say the F your mom and F your dad much anymore.
No, but
that was the old one. I think that anyway, it's cute. And she doesn't mind that people think it's funny. You know,
she has her moments though. She has her moments
when she's frustrated.
She's very real, and she cuts on and she's crying because
she doesn't want to do it all
that's
the time.
Not what she wants to be known for. That's
she
not
was
her
on
legacy.
Dr. Phil too.
Was she?
Has anyone never? I mean, it was something like unique but it looked like there are so many YouTubers that have been on Dr. Phil.
Well, when I went on that situation, it was the same year as Cash Me Outside Girl. You know,
was it really?
It was the same. It was a little bit earlier.
I thought it was at least a couple years after.
No, it was like, well, it was the next. She had two episodes.
Andy was on Howard Stern.
Yeah, he knows him. He knows they.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Yeah. But this was like what, Andy? This was like 20 years ago now, isn't it? It's like 2003, 2004 time frame or something like that.
Andy,
it was a while ago.
That's when he was on it.
That's when I.
Do you have a recording or anything of it? Andy, his son said you don't put fresh eggs in the icebox. You don't.
You don't.
That in England, they don't put eggs in the refrigerator when you go to the grocery store. That was really super weird at first. There you go. That is, Karen's put the link for the girl we were talking about, Bailey. You don't put them in the refrigerator. And the other thing is, if you decide to incubate them, you can have them for a week or so before you put them in. If you want one certain type of chicken, you can get like 3 of their eggs together if there's only one or what have you. So you can incubate them together and they'll start developing at the same time. I'm not positive that works. Sean says that he is. It made sense the eggs that Karen sent us. They were 21 days from the day we put them in the incubator when she mailed them to us. So that made me a believer. I'm a believer.
I saw her face.
I knew you were gonna. I know that song.
That's the Monkees. That's like the 60s.
What did Andy talk about on Howard Stern? I want to hear this.
Hold on. I'm trying to. I've got to watch.
Unless they are washed, leave them dirty. You see, Gigi, you're not wrong. Sean told me that. You don't wash them. You leave them dirty if you're going to incubate them.
Right.
You said it starts running if you wash them.
If you go to any like chicken site, and I'm in a bunch of them, North Georgia. I mean, because most people go through them quickly enough. And I know people don't want to, like, if there's chicken poop or whatever all over the eggs, they don't want that. Like if they crack an egg, but as soon as you wash them at all, like soak them in water and just wash them down, that starts the decay process a little bit. Now eggs that you buy in the grocery store are 60 days old. You know, it's not like they're going to go bad right away.
90 days.
Yeah.
60 to 90 days. Do you guys realize that not everyone can't have chickens in their backyard? I get it. Or go to farmers markets and buy them. But the eggs, by the time they get to the refrigerated section of your local grocery store, to include Eggland's Best and all the rest of them, they're 60 to 90 days old.
Yep. So it's now putting them. Don't wash them if you're going to incubate them. That's
oh my gosh.
Because I think it just does something to them.
Okay. That's why the store-bought ones have to be cold, because they've been washed. Right. Okay, there you go.
So now here's another question.
But what do you do if they get a little mud skid mark on them? How do you get it off?
You can brush it off with like a little soft brush.
No, it's not going to take poop off. Can you use a bleach wipe?
Well, then you got bleach on it, babe.
The bleach wipes don't have bleach.
This is a serious question, since someone else is in the chat here that knows a little bit about chickens and eggs.
Andy pitched in 1993, pitched 2 shutout innings at the original Yankee Stadium.
He did. With his team that he played with.
You never told me that. Andy hasn't told me these things.
Well.
Oh, it was in the stadium. It wasn't against the Yankees.
He wasn't in the major leagues.
I know he wasn't in the major leagues, but was he playing against the majors?
No. He had his own.
Team
that's
what I was thinking.
But still,
it's still pretty amazing.
He also got Andy. You gotta send a picture when he got drilled with a line drive right in the face, and it just broke his face all the way. That was another scare. Andy likes to scare us.
It sounds like it.
You know, he likes to scare us. That's why we like to treat him to a good time when he comes to Georgia.
Yeah.
Because he's out there getting.
You might not have as much fun.
I mean, he's out there getting something that's got like a 93% mortality rate that you're not supposed to. And then he gets his whole face taken off by a line drive.
Sometime we should do a panel and talk to him about that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because he actually told me about that not too long after, when he broke down his whole family. It was so cute when we were in the Crown Plaza. He started with one side of the family and explained about everybody. He was in the bathtub and I was sitting beside him. And he told me about every family member, and most of it I retained.
Yeah,
I got real confused with the ants.
We perched ourselves somewhere, and I was pointing everybody out.
You were laying in the bathtub.
Oh, in the bathtub.
When you told me first.
When we were at the OBX, I was like, now that's
The hardest one was for me to keep the names of the ants straight.
Right.
But I know their nicknames.
And the nicknames too.
Well, no, but I can look and say I might not know their given name, but I know their nickname.
That one's dude and that one's whatever.
Right.
That's one of the only places where you can sit and point at people is like when you're at a family reunion and you're another family member.
Oh my gosh.
When you're just look at that. That's where he got hit in the face with a line drive.
Oh my God. I cannot believe you didn't need, look, you can see my nail under it. I can't believe that you didn't need reconstructive surgery for that.
He was.
Did it knock you out? Run Stress Mommy's friend's son got drafted by Baltimore as a pitcher.
See, that's cool.
Like recently?
Like recently?
And I checked the text. I saw that Messenger has the Howard Stern link.
Okay. But I don't know if Andy, you met my friend that I went to high school, I don't want to say the name in here, whose son is at AAA. What's AAA Vegas with the A's right now?
They're like, you can't troll those.
I know, I don't want to.
But you know what I mean?
But he's, the Oakland.
Hey, here for the mess.
As woeful as the Oakland A's franchise is, they were way super deep with catchers. And this guy, my friend's son went to Georgia Tech and he played behind Joey Bart. So he had to wait. And so, Joey Bart plays in the majors and he was behind. But he went in the 4th round, Andy. I don't know if you know, if you knew that. So and I don't want to, So he's at AAA right now. He was invited to spring training last year, but they've got like Shea Langoliers. They've got, they moved up when Sean Murphy came over to Atlanta. But they're just, who's the other guy they have that's a badass catcher? Whatever. They've got all kinds of catchers. So, yeah.
Sean needs to do a sports show. I know we say this all the time, but if any of you have hubbies that are poking in and listening on the stream, they don't have to be husbands. Girls like baseball too. Do they
Andy,
like to hear about sports? I'd be curious.
My ex-wife hooked up with a guy that was drafted by the Yankees. So
I thought it was the Padres.
No, he got drafted by the Yankees. He was part of the Aroldis Chapman deal that sent him to the Reds. And since the Reds were horrible, he made the 5th spot starter, the number 5 starter for the Reds. So he pitched there. He hurt his shoulder, and then when he came back, he got released, and then he played for the Pirates.
And he sucked.
Yeah. The very first night Mandi and I were together, I had like extra innings on my phone, and I'm like, that's him. The Braves were playing the Pirates, and I said, that's the guy right there. He's pitching. And Freddie Freeman took him like 520 feet.
I was like, what guy? He's like, the guy she hooked up with and had a bunch of his pics in the phone, and I was like, I didn't know he's not hot. He is an ugly ass baseball player.
Yeah, his old roommate, Andy's old roommate manages the Royals.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I mean it's.
I guess in that area it's pretty small.
And they ball. And you knew, Andy, that.
I know, right?
My mother-in-law's brother is Ray Culp, so he won 17 games in 1969 for the Red Sox.
That was how I hooked Sean in.
But
I said, I can, and he goes, that's not your uncle. And I was like, he goes, I have his baseball card. And I said, no, you don't have his baseball. Because it's from the 60s. Yeah. And he had it.
So you'll like this story, Andy. So I go to Uncle Ray's house, right? And downstairs, like back in the 50s, they had Rookie of the Year, but they also had like the Rookie Pitcher of the Year. And he won the Rookie Pitcher year, I think it was 1958, I think.
Okay.
And so he's got this whole den full of plaques and trophies and stuff. And I was looking at it, and, you know, he was super, super impressed that I was a veteran. And that's what he wanted to hear about that. But when I mentioned Fenway, he lighted up, and we talked about Fenway a little bit. So everything that is in that den, there's a scorecard. And I think it was he was either pitching for Philly or he had pitched 1 year for the Cubs. And it was a scorecard. And he pitched that game. And Pete Rose led off. And Pete Rose was 0 for 4. And Ray struck him out 3 times that day. And I said, I want that. I want that scorecard. X's. Yeah.
And I've put in like a thing, like when that we're interested in it, and they know.
They were like, so all these I said, I want that scorecard.
And I'm like,
an original scorecard.
You never have to worry about us selling it. I was like, it would be like the pride of his collection. You need to put your foot up there.
I'm okay.
We have a rooster that's limping, and we have a Sean that's limping.
The whole outside of my foot is just a big bruise. You know,
when you roll it?
When you roll an ankle, right? You roll it walking. I came off of 2 steps straight onto the grass and rolled it. And so it kind of popped out and popped back in real quick. So I'm limping around.
I figured that. I kind of looked at the typo. Thank you. It's that same Infallible. People like that when I wear it. It's Infallible by L'Oreal. Thank you.
But yes, I got a little excited. Andy, me, our whole family, up there is pretty big baseball fans. And there's a pretty decent... there's the Yankees and there's the Red Sox. And so that's civil thing going on with our family, the Sox. And
I don't see he said he sent you the Howard Stern thing in your messenger. I didn't know that was him.
It's right there.
So this is the one right here?
Maybe.
Well, he said it was right there. Sometimes
he played, he played Stump the Buoy.
You and Andy could do
2005. That's what I thought.
You and Andy could do a kick-ass sports commentary.
We should do it.
Right? That's a good idea. Andy, would you be willing to do it like once a week if I could get it all set up and I could edit it? I would love that.
Tell Tiny I said hi.
Oh, Melinda loves our Tiny. Tiny's the big grandpa now. Yeah, it's sure being old and falling, we don't fall as easy as we. That's what I was telling him. He won't go to urgent care and get an X-ray. And I was like,
tomorrow. So.
And I was like, Sean, we're not 20 anymore. When you hurt yourself,
it is so true.
You're gonna get arthritis in it if they don't set it right. If it is broken, they need to set it. You don't know.
I wouldn't be walking around. I walked around all day on it.
You guys tell him that people do that all the time. Walk around on broken ankles. You're so sweet, Bella. I'm gonna let you read that because I'll sound.
You heard that? It's so cute. Mandi is so beautiful, but she doesn't even know it. Thank you. She gets all shy when people compliment her. And here's the thing, and the beast only wishes she had half the beauty. And here's the thing about that too. Thank you, because she is.
Thank you.
It's why it is so preposterous in the drama community when people go for her. To me, like if it's a bunch of immature dudes going for her or whatever, that's one thing. But when like Sam and Yaba or some of these other people are that Olap chick or whatever, when they're going for Mandi, anybody, and every once in a while someone will slip and go for her looks, and it's like, you can't go for her looks, man. There's just no way you can go for your looks.
I mean, anybody can pick anybody apart. But the thing is if you don't, show that it hurts, because it really doesn't. But there's certain people on here that when people criticize, their linebacker arms or what have you, that they get all bent out of shape and they try to, dance like a crazy to show how perfect. You don't have to do that. Just don't be triggered by it.
These ones that don't cam up, and the only one that's why it's so, when you have someone like Diane, and we don't know what she looks like, she doesn't come off as like a big girl, but these other ones that refuse to cam up, that go for people's weight, and it's just, they're big, and it's okay.
It's okay
There's
to be
nothing
big.
wrong with it.
No.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Thank you, Karen. Yeah, she's dropping the link to get our awning. Thank you, Karen.
And that was the whole thing. It's like, I look, when people go for like Mandi, they said, "Oh, she must be big." What if she is?
Well, I mean, I am, but I don't care.
But the thing is that's why you see people. It's just the super pretentious people that don't show their face, and they're super critical of people, and they're super mean to people. They're hideous, and it's not just. And it has nothing to do with their physicalness.
No.
Nothing. You can hear how hideous somebody is. It's like, just listening to them
Samantha,
speak.
I don't care if you lose 110 pounds and you, you still are, you're still rotten from the inside out. You're mean as hell.
I'll never get that. And it just might be a chick thing.
I don't know.
I mean, these girls are always, every once in a while they say, well, drama is not a straight man's sport or whatever. It's because we don't give a fuck about people's shape. It's like, we don't care.
But it's even when I joke around about myself, Sean's like, don't say that. I'll be like, today I was like, man, I got to take my fat ass on a walk. And you're like, what? And I was like, I need to start walking. And he's like, don't say that.
I mean, she doesn't. I mean,
no, but I
like, it's like if somebody.
It's funny because you're like, he's like, and I'm like, but I said it about myself. He's like, still.
But so here's my thing. It's like, if people aren't happy with the way they look or their weight, and they want to improve because of for health reasons, because as you get older, you
hurt more the more you
especially like in your 50s and 60s, and certainly into your 70s, there's not a lot of huge 70-year-old women or men.
That's what I've always said when I've worked in nursing homes. There's not a lot of obese older people.
No, and so
very few.
At some point, if somebody wants to, drop weight to get healthy, do it for your damn self.
Yeah.
Do it for your health. Don't do it for anything else but that.
And really, and I'm not trying to be like a know-it-all, but the secret is, and I've done it all. I've had surgery. I've done everything. Eat less, move more.
I mean,
eat less, move more. I
mean, if Mandi came in and said, I'm going to gain 50 pounds, I was like, that's just more for me. Seriously.
Any primary care that you ask, okay, well, which diet should I do? They're
hey, Jelly Belly.
Mine have always said, eat less, move more. That's it. The more you move, the better. Don't, do your 1,200 calories and move. Not obsessively.
I have a friend, and I'm not going to say any names. It was a high school
Jelly
friend.
Belly.
And Andy, you'll remember this name. I'll text it to you. I'm not going to say it here. It was a friend that I ran around with where I grew up in Willow Springs. And he's not on social media a whole lot. He just doesn't like to do it. But I came across his wife on Facebook because she and I has had Lyme's disease. So it was kind of like, we talk about the symptoms of Lyme disease. So I jump on Facebook, and I find out, like about a week before Christmas, that this guy that I was really, really tight with in high school has had a heart attack. And the dude is not, he's skinny. He's my age, but he's like super skinny. And so I'm like, oh my God. And then about 10 days later, like right around New Year's or so, he went into cardiac arrest for several minutes. And the first police officer that was on the scene had the defibrillators and brought him back. So now,
thank you, Gina.
here it is. We're in the middle of February. It now appears that, I mean, several minutes with no oxygen. You don't know what's happened to the brain, and it appears that he's okay. But they put a defibrillator in right there, and the first heart attack caused scarring at the bottom of his heart. So the second one is because some of the scar. I was telling you all this is because we're in our mid-50s. This guy was like, he's skinny. He's not. There's nothing. I mean, it's so odd. It like blew me away that he is having this kind of heart condition, having these problems. So,
but it was in his family, right?
I think that I think his dad died very young.
There's a car honking. No, that's down
That's not ours. That's like,
okay. Just making sure the animals are all on.
So when you get to be in our 50s, man, it is so sobering because this isn't, our parents' age. Andy and I watched both of our grandparents pass away, and we were so close as a family. And our parents are now getting older, and luckily for Andy and I, we don't, and any of our cousins, everyone's still alive, our aunts and uncles and stuff, most of them, all of them. But this is now happening to us, our peer group that we grew up with, our age. And a lot of times it has nothing to do with weight. And
remember when we were younger, the older generation, I'm 59, I got it. Oh, you have a defib too, like an internal and a pacemaker. Wow. The older generation were World War II veterans. That was who the 80s, the 75, 80-year-olds. And now it's the Vietnam era.
I remember, to put in perspective, when I was in high school, let's say 1985, and you went back 40 years from when I was in 10th grade, right? That was World War II, 40 years prior. And you think from 1985, we've gone another 40 years.
Yeah.
So 40 years from now, I was in high school. And that every once in a while I think about that, and it blows me away that when I'm 15 years old, we're reading about World War II like it was the Revolutionary War or something.
Yeah.
Like it was so long ago.
Yeah.
And now we've put another 40 years from that 1985, and I'm like, I'm fucking old, man.
I had a great grandmother who her mother had told stories about like what happened during the Civil War. And we were in Texas, our family was in Texas. So during the Civil War, it was interesting. Her memoirs of how Texas fit into it and how different people from the family would go to fight. Like, because Texas wasn't in the South. I mean, it was no, and I'm embarrassed to say, if Texas even had slavery.
I'm sure it's part of the history.
They didn't. When I was in school, they didn't talk about that in history class. They just didn't.
When you also went to school in the dare age and all that too.
Yeah.
But
true love waits. And
now you're talking about how they're rumbling around like how Texas wants to just leave the Union or something like that.
I bet Stitching knows.
Angel Eyes Over Me said, I died 2 minutes. However, I had just got off of life support. I am blessed. Wow.
Okay, so yeah.
Did you hear that?
I did. Hold on 1 second before I forget. Yes. So how long was Rich without oxygen before they...
Like they think...
5 minutes?
They don't know for sure. All they can do is go...
by what his wife said.
Well... Okay, so it was in the middle of the night.
Right.
So she wakes up and
he's sitting
she
there.
finds him and he's gulping. She doesn't know if he's in cardiac arrest then. He's still kind of conscious, but he's kind of, trying to gulp for air. And of course, and then he's, she's on the phone to 911. And so there's this, she's doing what she can do, what she knows how to do CPR wise. But, it's that agonizing, and she thinks about four or 5 minutes before a cop busted through the door with a defibrillator.
I had no idea you could suffer no permanent.
Well, I think they're saying he's got parts of his memory that he can't remember, but as far as walking and speech and this and that,
is intact. That's amazing.
There, so
that's amazing. So I'm embarrassed to say 30% of Texas families owned slaves in 1850.
Wow.
That's not, I'm embarrassed to say that. I didn't have any idea.
Angel Eyes Over Me, I posted it. She died for 2 minutes.
Wow.
2 minutes.
How weird is that when you think about that, Angel? Like when you think about the fact that you were technically for those 2 minutes, you know what I mean? Like
it's crazy.
Gives you a whole new lease on life, I would think.
So I remember when we're young and we're like, I used to swim in the pool all the time and run all over the place. We're teenagers, and the whole goal was to try to hold your breath for a minute. When you're a teenager.
Yeah.
Some of us could do it. There's no way I could do that now. But if you think about 120 seconds without a breath.
And he doesn't have any memory of what went on.
I'm talking about.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like Rich, like when he was. But there's not. I don't understand. If you don't have any oxygen for 5 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. Then in which part of the brain is that stuff kept?
That's a good question.
Do you see what I'm saying? Is it the front or the back? Like when you're without oxygen?
But I don't think it would be. I don't know that. But what it is no oxygen in the brain at all. So your brain cells are dying. It's. You see, like, people who have been underwater in icy cold water for 15 minutes, but it was so cold that they're able to bring them back, but there's almost certainly some damage.
Have a good night, Karen. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
15 minutes, like right here on the floor, right here, you're done. You're gone.
Yeah.
You're done. You're done.
That's Bailey.
Baby wiener. But they've had people that, if they're in cold water, if it's cold out,
Wow.
And the other thing is that's just an honest guess that they don't know. And so it's like, oh, it wasn't that long. But if, the doctor's going to say, we need to figure out how long this was so we can proceed a certain way.
Yeah, exactly. If you look at I saw videos of how they determine brain death, like before they pull life support or whatever. And it's crazy the things that they do. One of the things that they do can be, and I'm not joking, they'll pinch your nipples because that will get a response. Yeah. And the other thing is they put cold saline in your ear.
They get you to flinch or whatever?
It's supposed to do something like, these are all like primal things that are supposed to happen.
See, this dirty doctor was like, all right, I'm here to pinch
But first, I know, I was like, and they also come up and they do like very roughly, they'll sit there and come on, let's get, like apparently that, I was like, I would think that's not a.
They said that he's recovering from a broken sternum for when they were.
For sure.
And it's like, when you break your sternum, it's not like it's several weeks before.
It's very painful.
That's pretty thick.
And broken ribs are, when you think about it, broken ribs are so painful. Your sternum is like the whole, I bet it was extremely painful. Your memory got a little, but goodness gracious. That's awesome that you survived that. Wow.
Stitching, and that's what it is, Angel.
She's got a 95-year-old aunt. Nice. Stitching, and she's walking again after a stroke.
What I've learned through dealing with a lot of older people because they all come to the post office, when they get into their 90s and they're still outside, like walking around or living independently or living with family, they're usually pretty sharp.
Oh, really?
It's like you start to see a decline in people whenever, and then, they get into their 80s or, late 70s and into their 80s. It's they almost... everybody in their 80s, just about. And there's people that don't need some type of assistance. But the ones that can walk into the post office and they're like, I'm 92, they're very, very sharp. Like they kind of pass the whole, I'm going to need help.
Right.
And, they may be going home to, they might be leaving the place and going to assisted living but they may not be driving, but they're sharp.
That's amazing.
Their faculties are there much more than, it's like when you pass a certain age and you're on house money, when you're in your 90s, they could hold a conversation, a lot better than some of the people in the 80s, their 80s that I've had to help.
Yeah.
It's just something that I noticed.
That's the best way when you observe, that's what I do. I look like when I work at different nursing, like nursing homes or skilled nursing. I just like, you take in the different, like the ages of the people and what they're still able to do. And it's different for everyone. But
Angel Eyes Over Me said I was on life support.
Oh my gosh.
Life support 9 weeks. I lost my son a year ago this March, and I still feel blessed.
Melinda died 2 times when she was 13. She went through a glass door. Second time I was having an operation on my kidneys. Unbelievable.
We got some real ones
Those
here in the chat.
sliding glass
man.
door accidents were, I guess they're made different now, but there are so many like young people, like, that during the time that going through a sliding glass door, they'd kill them.
Yeah, the glass is tempered. It's not like pane glass.
But they had building codes where you could no longer have sliding glass windows by stairways.
Right.
So
Makes
for that
sense.
reason or whatever, it caused a
lot of
bunch
people
of
that
deaths.
like put their hands through glass, like windows with their hands. They hurt themselves pulling back.
Oh, I see.
They don't like, you can punch a window and just straight, that glass is going to break that way. But then the shards is when people pull back that they cut themselves.
People shouldn't be punching windows. You ready?
I'm ready. Well, we got off on one tonight, guys.
We did. We had a good time, right?
Yep. When we get done talking drama and we just start vibing, then we get the crowd that we like to have in here. I can't believe
we had some really awesome folks that stopped by. Stopped by.
I mean, I'm always kind of like, it's kind of cool, and I'm kind of honored when people, they're just lurking in the chat, or they're just talking, and then
or when
we
people
hit something,
right, and
we
they'll
hit something
type up
that
and say something
that's happened to them, and that's really cool.
That's just as meaningful as dragging the hell out of people.
It's more meaningful. It's just sometimes dragging people is fun, especially when they're getting. I mean, like,
and sometimes when people wait for you to talk to them so they can snipe you, you don't even mention them.
Nope.
Love you guys.
Hey, we'll see you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate